So a YouTuber named Karmakut is coming out with his own game. If you haven't heard of him, he's in the tactical space. He makes a lot of content when it comes to large-scale battles, right? Really dives in deep with the tactics, with the communication. He's really, really good at what he does, especially in those games like Squad and Arma and everything like that. Anyway, he's making a new game called Bellum. This is a game that just showed its teaser off a couple days ago. It's going to be a large-scale infantry combat game, I'm guessing a lot like Squad, but there's not a lot we know as of right now. They just showed their teaser, but my buddy Mordog has made a great video about what's probably coming to the game. You can find that down below because that's going to go over some things that he just expects to be in the game. He knows a little bit more about the large-scale infantry and probably has a better idea of what the game core mechanics are going to be, so definitely watch that when you're done here. But what I want to talk about is why I think this game is a really good thing for gamers. Now, first and foremost, I know this game isn't going to be huge. I know it's not going to be for everybody, right? It doesn't appeal to the broad audience. The heavy focus on realism and on communication and teamwork, that doesn't appeal to everybody. Some people just want to hop in and play some casual moments, and that's fine. But as of lately, and as I've grown older, I've taken a look at games and I've looked at them more as art, right? Not just games to play, but design choices that shows the heart of the developer, or at least that's what I think they should be. Sometimes the heart of the developer isn't very good, and so you get bad games. And sometimes the heart of the developer is just money. But if there's one thing that Karmakut is passionate about, it's this Milsim genre. Because to be honest, it's a very small niche. Not a ton of people are in that Milsim space, even though I think that they should be. They should at least try it out a little bit. But the games in the space can be a little bit more difficult or clunky, or even tend to sway a little bit more casual and move away from that teamwork that they're supposed to implement. And so Karmakut, being so immersed in this space, has a little bit better understanding, I think, of why games aren't doing it for people, why games maybe miss the mark in some areas, why games aren't being creative when it comes to their game modes, their gameplay style, the mechanics that they implement, things like that. And that's why I believe Karmakut probably is going to come out with a very good product here, because as a creator, you see certain things. You get a feel for not just the game and how those games feel, but also the community and what the community thinks, and maybe what isn't vibing with them very well. Maybe a lot of complaints that aren't addressed in those other games because those bigger studios are trying to appeal a little bit more to those broader audiences. But I think when it comes to creators, they get it a little bit more than if you're just looking at analytics. Like Activision, when they make a game, they're looking at psychology, they're looking at charts, they're looking at, okay, what helped maintain that player base? What appealed to more people? Why did people stop playing? Which is why things like skill-based matchmaking is a part of games today, because that's really what they've been focusing on. How can people play our game the longest? And while that is certainly more profitable, honestly, it's a game made for analytics. It's not made from the heart of the developer, because there is no heart. The heart is to keep you playing as long as possible. But in this case, while, playing longer is obviously going to be better for the game, I think that if something fresh were to come along, like if Karmakut, if I'm thinking correctly, and if what I expect Karmakut to do is correct, I think we're going to have some sort of large-scale objective-based gameplay that's going to push the limits a little bit, or experiment a little bit more on what those objectives are. A lot of the games go out, you just capture a specific space, and then you move on, right? Advanced and secure, random, advanced and secure, stuff like that. But I think there's going to be a little bit more involved in this. My guess is, and again, this is just my personal hypothesis, is that he's seen that these objective-based game modes are very popular, but they don't do anything new. So I'm thinking that he's trying to wiggle his way in a little bit into a space that nobody has touched yet. And because he's a creator, he can do that in a way that takes into account everybody that's been around him, his entire community, and implement it in a way that is a lot of fun for people. Now, I will say mostly I'm excited for something like this because it's a fellow creator. He's doing something bigger than just being a creator. He started from, well, basically scratch, just grew and grew and grew, the community grew, and now he's doing what he always wanted to do, making his dream game. It's obviously going to be a very difficult task for him to complete, but I love when people take a step out like this, and that's why I created the gray branding. That is my step out. I don't know if I'll ever create my own game, probably not, but I love to see these things from fellow creators, things like Blue Drake, Karmakut, Big Fry, even Level Cap now, I guess he's making his own game. I'm just excited to see that. And I think in general, in the gaming space, we need to see more passion projects, because the more passion that gets put into something and the more understanding of what the community wants, those things put together, I'm guessing, are going to make for a very good experience. And in my opinion, you guys as a viewer should really be encouraging stuff like this, especially from your favorite creators. And I'm hoping this game does a really good job and brings a very good experience. I'm not the best, honestly, at those large scale battles. I'm not the best with communication and coordinating. That's just not what I'm really, really good at. But I do enjoy it from time to time, especially with the right folks. And I'd love to see more passion projects over just the analytical, data-driven games in the field. So that's my spiel as a creator. Again, watch Moydog's video linked down below because he's done a great breakdown of all the pictures, of all the press releases and everything like that. He's got a better idea of what the game is going to be, but I really like the passion that comes from this. Now, really quick, I do want to address the elephant in the room, okay? There are a lot of tactical games that you can play. There's a lot of unfinished early access games that are out right now. And, you know, is this going to be one of those games? That's a very good question to ask. That's a fair question to ask because there's so many of them. I mean, games like Ground Branch. I have no idea what's going on with Ground Branch, man. What I'm hoping is a little bit different here is the team behind it. I'm guessing he's got a lot of pros in the field that wanted to gather around him because of his influence and his connections. That's sort of how things work. But ultimately, I think the biggest thing is the scope of the project. If he keeps that scope small, if he keeps the plan of the game fairly small, you know, it could go fairly quickly. It could just be an easy game to make. I doubt it, but what we've seen so far looks great, but we haven't really seen any gameplay, right? So my hope is, as a multiplayer specific title, and as someone who has a very large following in the field and hopefully will garner a lot of support, the game's updates are going to be consistent with a very specific scope in mind. Probably shouldn't have done that thing. But with all the tools available right now to the developers and programmers and stuff like that through the Unreal Engine, I'm really hoping this game isn't going to take more than a few years to complete. Operation Harsh Doorstop is coming up on a few years now. I mean, they did have a pre-release development cycle, so there are a few years added to that other than the Steam release. Big Fry's game has been in development for a couple of years now. Ground Branch has been around for like 10 plus years. But it's a good thing to keep in mind that just Gray Zone Warfare was built only in a couple years. So I think a lot of it depends on the funding that you have, the quality of developers you have, because if someone is really skilled, they can get things done in a very, very short amount of time that would take someone normally, you know, like 2 weeks. So is this going to be another one of those games? You know, I just don't know. I doubt it, but I don't know. We still have no release date on this, so who knows? This could be a couple years out that they're going to release anything. This is just the teaser. But let me know what you guys think about this project. Do you think that it's going to last? Do you think this is just another off-the-shelf, throw-it-away kind of thing? Are you even interested right now in a large-scale, realistic, tactical, communication-oriented game? Maybe my community isn't. I don't know. I play by myself a lot, so maybe that's just not their thing. Before I go, Karma, I want to just give you a little bit of a message. I'm rooting for you, man, if you couldn't tell by this video. I'm excited for the project. I hope that you can really tackle a niche that maybe has been untouched before. And I'm just excited to see where this project goes because as a fellow YouTuber, I mean, I get it. Things don't always play as we want it to. And you want to make it in a way that will give you that dream game, that dream experience that you've been craving for the past few years. So I wish you the best of luck. I'm excited to support the project going forward because I trust you and I trust your passion for the genre. It was nice meeting you that one time and hopefully we can meet again. Thank you so much for watching though. That pretty much ends this video. Take care until the next one. And until then, blend in until you need to stand out.